Hello and welcome to PPG Grand Haven. At this facility, we manufacture powder coatings where we operate on 3 shifts. This contractor orientation is required once a year for all contractors who work on site here at PPG. Each time you come on site to perform work at a PPG facility, you must first sign in. Your visit will start at door 7 where you will sign in. This is where you will enter your name and company at the computer kiosk. During your workday, if you need to leave the site, you must sign out and sign back in upon your return. We need to ensure we can account for all persons on the property. The typical procedure before allowing contract work is as follows. Request contractors submit the ISN network. Our safety manual is sent to your company rep. Anyone on site must complete this training once per calendar year and have a pre-startup safety meeting where job specifics can be discussed and documented. Only after all these steps have been completed can work commence. Please do not grant anyone access to our building. This must be done only by PPG employees. In addition, we require all of our doors to remain closed and locked so no unauthorized persons may enter the building. If for any reason you need a door to be left open for more than entry or exit, you need to make PPG aware so we can make the proper countermeasures. This facility is a tobacco-free facility. This includes all forms of smoking, chewing tobacco, and electronic cigarettes. In addition to being tobacco-free, we do not allow alcohol, drugs, or weapons on site. If we suspect any deviation from this rule, we will contact your employer and request removal from the facility. In all areas of our manufacturing facility, PPE is required. Our general PPE includes safety glasses, safety shoes, hard hats, and long sleeves and pants that are both fire resistant. Depending on the work completed, additional PPE may be required. This will be determined during your safety planning meeting. It is PPG's expectation that your parent company provides you with the necessary PPE, as we have limited loaner PPE available. PPG deems specific work or tasks to be life-critical due to the potential of serious injury or risk of fatality. Contractor work often includes at least one of our life-critical topics due to the high-risk work you are brought on site to do. Life-critical rules in this facility include hot work, control of static electricity, electrical safe work practices, powered industrial trucks and driving, lockout-tagout, line breaking, machine guarding, confined space, and elevated work. Certain tasks being completed on site may require permitting before it can be started. These tasks include, but are not limited to, confined space entry, hot hazardous work, digging or trenching, line breaking, energized electrical work, and certain construction activities. For each of these activities, the appropriate permits must be completed and reviewed by site EHS or management before commencing work. If any of these tasks are started before proper permitting, you will be asked to leave the site immediately. Let's first discuss hot work requirements. No work that creates heat, sparks, or open flame can be completed without a hot work permit, since there is no designated hot work permit area for the site. This includes work outside. A PPG authorized person will sign off on your hot work permit to ensure all requirements are being met and that you have a trained fire watch. The next life-critical rule is control of static electricity. This is a powder coatings facility in which there are flammable and combustible dust throughout the facility in addition to small amounts of solvent. During transfer of powder or flammable materials, static charge can be created. One measure that we put in place is bonding and grounding. It is critical that when you are on site, you follow all bonding and grounding requirements to reduce any static charge. The next life-critical topic is powered industrial trucks. When you come into our facility, please know that as a part of our operations we have several fork trucks moving throughout the facility. For your safety, please give the fork trucks the right of way and stay clear. We have a rule in place called the Halo Zone and request that all contractors not get any closer than 6 feet to any equipment in operation. All of our fork trucks have lights that shine on the ground to indicate the clearance needed. This rule applies to all types of powered industrial trucks and includes any equipment you have brought on site. When in our facility, always use man doors instead of overhead doors where provided. If you operate equipment in our facility, please make sure you stop and honk your horn at all intersections, stop signs, and doorways as you pass through. If anyone breaches the 6-foot zone, please stop all movements of equipment and shut it off. It is the expectation that you have received proper training and have a proper certification for driving powered industrial equipment from your parent company before you operate at our facility. If a contractor needs mobile equipment to complete a task on site, they must provide the equipment ensured is properly rated for the area. Lockout tagout is another life-critical element we will discuss. During your visit on site, if you must complete work on equipment, it is the expectation that it will be locked out and tagged out. Live work is not permitted unless specifically authorized by the facility and the correct permitting such as a permit to work has been completed. Lockout tagout includes any line breaking procedures as well. If a line must be broken, then the line must be depressurized, labeled with an out of service tag, and a safety device must be put in place to prevent the release of chemical air or steam. Lockout tagout procedures apply to all types of energy and all persons working on site. If there are multiple persons participating in lockout tagout tasks, group lockout procedures must be followed to ensure the safety of each person. You can find machine-specific lockout instructions at each piece of equipment. The contracting company should provide locks and tags to all employees prior to work is started. Tags must be used with locks to ensure the person applying is properly identified and can be contacted. In addition to following lockout tagout, while working on equipment, we ask that you do not remove guards unless the machine is locked and tagged out. We have machine guarding in place to prevent injury while equipment is in operation. If you must remove a guard, remember to lock out the equipment and then replace the guard onto the machine before re-energizing and returning to service. At this facility, you will see multiple types of fixed and interlock guards on equipment. Do not bypass any guards while on site. Again, do not remove guards unless equipment is locked out and ensure to replace any guards that you have removed. Our next life-critical element is confined space. There are several permit-required confined spaces located on site that are designated with the signage shown in this slide. If the space must be entered, a permit must be completed, approved by site management, the air tested, and rescue services available. If at any time the atmosphere becomes unsafe or rescue services become unavailable, the space must be exited. Even a quick entry is not permitted without following the proper procedures. At no time will any hot work be permitted inside of a permit-required confined space. The second to last life-critical element we will review is electrical safe work practices. All electrical circuits should be placed in electrically safe condition, through de-energization, locked out power source, then tested and verified as de-energized prior to work being performed. If electrical equipment needs to be energized to work on for such reasons as operational limitations, equipment design, or de-energizing equipment leading to increased injury risk, a permit to work must be completed to ensure the proper controls are in place. An arc flash and shock hazard assessment has been performed, and the appropriate PPE and boundaries have been identified and labeled for each electrical box. Ensure you're abiding by these instructions. The final life-critical element we will cover is a fall from height. At any point, if you are working where you're exposed to a fall of 4 feet or more, you must put on fall prevention or put fall protection in place. If any work is completed from a lift with an anchor point, fall protection is required. If any work is to be completed on the roof, special precautions must be put in place. The life-critical elements are taken very seriously, as it is our #1 priority to keep our employees, contractors, and visitors safe. Just one deviation may result in a single employee or contract company being asked to leave our site. If you have any questions or unsure how the rules apply to a specific job, please make sure to consult your PPG EHS team. If an emergency arises during your time at PPG, please follow these instructions. If an emergency alarm sounds, this is a fire type emergency and you should exit the building through the nearest door. On this slide you will see an example of an emergency egress map, and these are posted throughout the facility and will help guide you to the nearest exit and muster point. Make sure you review the map in the area you are working in. After you have exited the building, please make your way to the end of the driveway. This is the designated muster point where we will complete a head count. Do not leave the site until you have been accounted for, and do not re-enter the building until the all clear has been given. For severe weather type emergencies, you will hear an announcement over the intercom to report to a severe weather shelter. Severe weather shelters are signed and include all first floor restrooms, the R&D lab area, and any other area that is marked with the green severe weather shelter sign. During severe weather, you must remain in these shelters until the all clear is given. During your visit to PPG, if an injury or incident occurs, you must report it. You must report it to your parent company as well as your PPG site contact or the EHS department. This goes for all types of injuries, near misses, mobile equipment incidences, and fires, no matter how minor they may seem. It is important that we understand the incidences that are occurring so that we can prevent them from occurring again. For minor injuries, we have on-site first aid responders trained that can be contacted. For serious injuries, you should dial 911 and contact emergency services. If you must bring any chemicals on site, they must first be approved by the EHS department. To request chemicals to be brought on site, a safety data sheet must be provided to the EHS department along with the specific use and areas this chemical will be used. During your work at PPG, if any type of waste may be generated, proper disposal must be discussed prior to starting work. We must ensure that it is properly disposed either by your company or PPG. Do not bring waste containers on site until they have been approved by site EHS. In addition, no chemicals or trash can be left outside, as this activity could pose a risk to the environment. Thank you for your attention to this presentation. Please make sure to ask your PPG site contact or EHS any questions that you have during your work on site. We hope that you have a safe and productive visit.